All right, Jules, I didn't want to get carried away with this to all the Milanisti out there. I said, let's wait. Surely they'll drop off. Something will happen. The travel, Ibrahimovic, COVID. But no, they're still top of the table. They beat Udinese 2-1 at the weekend. Mm-hmm. Zlatan Ibrahimovic gets the headlines because he sets up Frank Kessie's first goal, and then it's an overhead kick at the end to win it. Now, I use the term lightly because technically it was an overhead kick. Yeah. If you see it, it's more like, like Mr. Stretch putting his foot way up into the air and falling backwards, but they all count. Milan are top. They're ahead of the curve.
They are. And I think they're serious, right? The way they play. I don't think Ibra can't keep that form the whole season. It's impossible. He's got 7 goals in 6 games. I
think he's also started like 5 games in a row.
No one has scored more than him since the restart of last season. He's been incredible. He said, you are not Zlatan, don't take on the virus, don't do like me kind of thing. All the punchlines are great, all the goals are great, all the performances, but there would be a time where it would be a bit off. And then we will have to see if Rafael Leao, if Rebic, whoever else can take over and keep scoring the goals. But I still think that they're well organised. I think they've got a very, very good midfield. Benacer, Kessié, Tonali at some point will become good. You can even move to a 3 in midfield. Wow, I was really impressed. Not so much by the performance at the weekend because it was not their best games, but they still found a way of winning 7 minutes from time. I just like the character they show. I like the structure that they have. And then when you've got Ibra in that kind of form, it's just like, wow.
And despite Ibra, they're one of the youngest teams in Europe as well. So there is an upside. Going forward, they'll need to make a big decision on Gigi Donnarumma's contract at some point. What's really impressed me about Pioli is that, teams that have, I've always said this, teams that have Ibrahimovic tend to play bad football. It might be successful football. They play bad football because he's so big, he's so dominant, he's so talented that you just end up lumping the ball to him continuously. And that's a huge temptation. This Milan team, maybe for the first time, I didn't see much of the Galaxy. I'm assuming they were pretty Ibra dependent.
Yeah, I think so.
This is not a team that's Ibra dependent. In other words, he's important to them, but they have so many other solutions. And at the same time, I think Ibra's mentality has changed where, yes, it's still all about him, but he doesn't always need the ball. He will make the decoy run. He will look to set up teammates. Yeah. They have so much speed, so much energy, whether it's Brahim Diaz, whether it's Theo Hernandez, we saw from Castillejo, Rafael Leao. There's so much drive there, so many different ways for them to score. That it's almost like Pioli's developed like an Ibra plan B, where Ibra's a part of it. You're right. The big question is what happens when Ibra needs to take a break, and what happens if Ibra has another sort of Ibra megalomaniac moment, which we've seen happen in the past. I'm gonna go out on a limb and guess that I think he turned 39 in October. Yeah. He views every day that he's on the pitch as a gift, and he says, "If I want to keep playing, I need to be good, Zlatan."
But do you think there's a parallel to make between him and Cristiano? They're very different players, but in the sense where Cristiano at some point realized that, okay, maybe I need to do a bit less on the pitch to do more, to have more goals. And that Ibra, I saw him for 4 years in Paris where he really wanted to do everything. He still thought he could do what he did at Ajax and drop deep and get the ball and dribble past 6 players and then score. But he can't do that anymore. And do you think that there's a parallel maybe, again, very different players, but a sense of, okay, if I reinvent myself a little bit on what I can do and what I'm good at, then I keep just doing that and then I will have success.
I think it's a tempting parallel. I think it's definitely something to look at, and obviously especially after this weekend with Cristiano's performance. I don't think Cristiano is there yet. I don't think he needs to be in that situation where Ibra is. I think Cristiano has a role for himself within the team. He's still the main man, but he doesn't need to necessarily put himself at the service of the team the way Ibra does. Yeah. I just think he's in a different space mentally. But I think what we're seeing is this is really interesting, the way they've built the team. I think if they're still in this position, there's no doubt in my mind they'll look to reinforce in January as well. And man, for the first time in forever, it feels like it looks as if the sun is shining on the red and black side of Milan.
They haven't been unbeaten for so long, since 92, 93 or something crazy like that.
Something
and at the
absurd
weekend,
like that.
they play Verona, a game that you think that they would be favourite. And then Lazio play Juventus, Atalanta play Inter. So it's a weekend where they could make more ground even on the others. Let's say the other 2 games are a draw and they win.
You've worked everything out.
Well, thank you very much for watching ESPN on YouTube. For more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for live streaming, premium content, and let's not forget as well, ESPN FC 7 days a week. Subscribe to ESPN Plus.